Today, we're talking about Rachel Reeves and her latest plans to revamp the way Britain manages its national debt, or should I say, redefines it. Let's dive in. So, after weeks of speculation, Rachel Reeves is all set to confirm some major changes to Britain's debt rules. She's planning to raise another £57 billion to spend on long-term infrastructure projects. Yes, you heard that right, £57 billion. Now, here's the kicker. This is exactly what she promised not to do during the election. Whoops! Looks like Labour is ready for another borrowing spree. And guess who gets to foot the bill? Yep, the taxpayers. Though of course, they won't exactly frame it that way. Reeves is expected to pitch this new plan to the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, during next week's autumn budget. She'll introduce a fresh method for calculating the UK's national debt. And here's where things get interesting. This new accounting trick will magically make the debt look smaller. It's almost like Reeves has finally found that mythical magic money tree. But in reality, she's just shifting some numbers around and taking a massive gamble with, well, our money. Now let's back up a second. Remember Labour's 2024 election promises? Reeves set two ironclad rules. First, that the current budget would balance, meaning day-to-day spending would be covered by revenues. And second, that national debt would be falling as a share of the economy by year 5. But spoiler alert, she's about to toss that second rule out the window. How? By changing the definition of debt itself. She's planning to count things like government-owned roads, parks, and even unpaid student loans as assets, and then subtract these from the debt. The debt will still exist though, plus the extra £57 billion she's planning to borrow. It'll just be counted differently. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't this rule supposed to be ironclad? Well, that's what Reeves called it during the election. But hey, that was months ago. And apparently, rules are made to be broken, right? Former PM Rishi Sunak certainly thinks so. He reminded everyone that Reeves herself once called this fiddling the figures. It's hard to argue with that. Even the Institute for Fiscal Studies, a highly respected body, is raising eyebrows. They've hinted that Labour's new rule change looks like a sneaky way to justify more borrowing for investment. And honestly, who can blame them for being suspicious? Reeves wouldn't be doing this if it made the debt look bigger or gave her less money to spend, right? But here's where things get serious. Labour might not care too much about what voters think, but they definitely care about how the bond market reacts. Now, what is the bond market? It's essentially the foundation of the global financial system. The UK borrows hundreds of billions every year by issuing bonds to investors all over the world. These investors want a low-risk return, so anything remotely dodgy like what happened with Liz Truss's chaotic mini-budget in 2022 scares them. And when they get scared, they demand higher interest for lending us money. Remember when mortgage rates shot up to over 6% after Truss's budget blunder? That was the bond market freaking out. And that move cost Truss her job after just 49 days in office. Yeah, the bond market doesn't mess around, especially when we're talking about a country like the UK drowning in a staggering £2.6 trillion in debt. That's about the size of the entire UK economy for a year, by the way. Now back to Reeves. The bond market is already raising an eyebrow at her little debt redefinition trick. How do we know? UK gilt yields. That's the interest rate the government pays on its debt. Jumped from 3.75% last month to 4.2% today. That's a big jump for something that's not supposed to be volatile. And here's the warning sign. Experts at Pantheon Macroeconomics are saying that interest rates could be up to 0.5% higher over the next financial year because of Reeves's plan. For someone with a £250,000 mortgage, that could mean an extra £105 a month. Ouch. Now, Reeves will argue that she's borrowing to invest, not to cover everyday spending. And to be fair, the UK has underinvested in infrastructure for years. If this works, it could actually help boost the economy and pay for itself. But, and this is a big but, if it doesn't work, well, it could end up looking like Liz Truss 2.0, and nobody wants a repeat of that. So, what do you think? Is Rachel Reeves taking a smart gamble with Britain's future, or is she risking a financial mess we can't afford? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest breakdowns. See you next time.